Hey, I'm here to make a video. This is like not planned, but I had a doctor's appointment today and it was a hard one for me in a sense. And so I thought that with me talking about my PCOS journey and everything, I would also share some of the difficult days or doctor's appointments that I have. Of course, I'm not really the type to record myself crying. I can't really do that. It's not my thing, but I cried today after my appointment, and I just kind of wanted to share some of my thought process today and my feelings around where I am in this TTC journey and this PCOS journey. So yeah, that's what this is why I'm recording it. I don't know where to go. I don't know if it'll be on video, but here we are. Okay, so today I had an appointment with my OBGYN, and it's like a regular monthly appointment check-in and everything. And the usual is basically a check-in on my weight, where I am, if I've lost any, if I gained any, how I'm doing on my lifestyle change, i.e. diet and exercise. And granted, I've had a really rough month because I've been eating like trash all over the place, being very social, but not necessarily focusing on like my diet when I go out. So I paid for it this month. I've only lost from the last like 3 pounds. So I gained and then went back down over the last month, which I knew that was going to happen because of the way I was eating. So I just knew that was going to be the case. So that part of it, I'm not really upset about because I am completely comfortable with where I am now weight-wise and how I've been feeling physically. So for me, it's not about the number, but I know because of the metformin that I'm on and everything that's like part of the goal. So I get it, like checking in on my weight is one thing, and making sure that I'm making the lifestyle changes is also important. And when I'm not, like when there isn't a change in my weight, that clearly usually means there isn't that big of a change, or there's been a positive or negative change, let's say that, in my lifestyle routine or whatever that looks like. And so for me, like the last appointment prior to this one, it was a great one. I had lost a ton of weight. I was really like focused on understanding the foods and how they're affecting my body. And because I know that now, I kind of got comfortable, if I'm being honest, because in my mind it's like, okay, I know what this does. I know I just need to work out and kind of like eat better after this. But it just turned into an ongoing thing, like a weekly thing, and that's not what I need to do. So that's what the first part of the appointment was. But I think the second part is kind of what has me feeling emotional today. So, and it happens every now and again at these appointments because I do have like an overwhelming feeling of just like frustration and sadness. So I asked about the goal of having a kid, and I was, my heart of hearts, I truly, truly, truly wanted this metformin to work for me. And I wanted to be able to conceive on this metformin so that I didn't have to go through all the other routes, the letrozole, the Clomid, the HSGs, the IUIs, IVF. I'm praying that I don't have to go that far into it in this process, at least for the first baby. I'm praying that and hoping that the metformin works for me like it has for many other women. I do know, like based on some of the research that I've done, that sometimes in some cases that metformin doesn't really work and you have to explore other options. But I was just hoping for me, I will be a part of the percentage or the number that it worked for. And that's not to say that it won't ever work. Maybe now it's just not the time. But it hasn't, and we've been actively trying, and it's frustrating. And I'm gonna try not, and I just said I don't cry on camera, and I think I'm still a little emotional about it. I haven't like, I almost say I haven't fully processed it, but it's like the more I think about it, the more like sad I get. So anyway, so I'm asking her about it, and in my mind prior to this, I was like, maybe I just need progesterone, and that'll be the boost that I need. Maybe progesterone and metformin will be what I need to be able to conceive. And I didn't even get that question out, which I'm also mad at myself about, because I think that I was just overwhelmed. And so before leaving the appointment, she was basically like, yeah, I'll just refer you to the fertility doctor. And I don't want to say that broke me, but it broke me. It didn't break me. It just really hurt my feelings because I didn't want to have to go that far. I didn't want to have to find another doctor. I didn't want to have to talk to another doctor. I didn't want to have to go through this process. And I am coming to terms with the fact that I do have to go through this process. And for me, that's why today's appointment was so emotional. At least that's part of it. That's the main part of it. I think another part of it is it's a little frustrating because it does seem like my weight is the core focus here, although I know in the back that's not what that is. Like, it's deeper than that. I completely get it. But the weight is like the only measuring factor that we kind of have. And it's just frustrating because we keep focusing on this, and in my mind, I've gotten to a healthy weight. I feel amazing. I have energy. I am doing so much more than I was able to do like a year ago. I'm cool with the weight. I'm actually, and I've gotten a little too comfortable with being on metformin. I do know though that the ultimate goal is to get me off of it or to wean me off, and I'm not there yet. And I think I've realized today that I think my expectations for my OBGYN was a little bit far-fetched. And her focus is my PCOS diagnosis. Her focus is making sure that I'm making the necessary changes in that regard so that I can possibly conceive naturally or conceive on metformin. And maybe that isn't my reality. And that's also not her, like, me conceiving is not her wheelhouse. Like, in her mind, you do these things and you should be able to, because that's treating the PCOS. You treat the PCOS and usually you can conceive. But because PCOS is so complex, there are so many other things that come along with it. So then that leads you into a fertility doctor. And so that's where we are now. So my husband will have to get tested and I will have to get tested. It's not a bad thing at all. Actually, like, this is a positive thing. I get to get answers, like even more answers as to why we potentially aren't conceiving. And maybe even then, if progesterone will help me, then maybe that will help. But it just makes me a little sad to think that, okay, now we're having to go into this next step and we've been trying for so long. I am very goal oriented, and I have been very I've been very hopeful for a kid, or at least a pregnancy this year. And the year is not over, so there are so many possibilities still. But this does it just makes it a little frustrating. I think that's just the reality of it for me. And I know that so many other women with PCOS go through this process and maybe even potentially go through these feelings. And I think I tried to mentally prepare myself. And I think at one point, I would joke about not having kids or not rushing to have kids because I did not want to face this reality that I was gonna have to go through all these things and jump through all these hoops and see these different doctors and adjust so much of my life to have a kid. So that's where I am. I'm still processing today, which is probably why I still have tears forming about it. I cried earlier, and I guess talking about it is just bringing those feelings back up. It's just, if you don't have PCOS, I guess you probably won't understand. Or if you don't have challenges with fertility, I guess you won't ever understand. But experiencing these challenges with fertility right now has been quite the reality check that I maybe needed. I also don't want to discount the power of God, because I do consider myself a believer. And I do know that miracles can happen, and I'm believing in God for that as well. But in the same breath, I also believe that his timing is better than mine, and I know that his will for me, and the future that he has for me, is better than I can ever imagine. So maybe even now it's just not the time. So I'm torn between a lot of different emotions right now, but today has been a tough one and has been a emotional day. Just, I think every doctor's appointment, I think my anxiety goes up just a little bit, because it's just like, what am I going to hear today? What is it going to be today? Like, what is it going to be? Yeah, it's been a day, but I'm recording this because I know that there is someone that has probably experienced this, or maybe going through similar feelings or something related to PCOS. And I guess this is just the highs and lows of it. I will continue celebrating the fact that I did lose weight. I am down to, like, at the doctor's office it was 180. At home it's like 178. So I'm going with the 178. So that puts me at like 46 pounds down in like 8 months. I'm proud of that, and I feel amazing. I've been super active. I'm exploring other activities now. I'm doing a lot more. I can hang. I got energy. So I'm going to take that win. And this TTC journey will continue, of course, until we have our babies. So that's all I have for this video. We'll see how this goes. One thing I did forget to do, sorry, I was in my feelings. I forgot to close out this video. Thank you for watching. If this has helped you, or if you think this will help anyone else, please share the video and like, subscribe. And I'm sending hugs, love, and baby dust to you all who are on this TTC journey as well. See you in the next video.